Good evening, dear friends. Here is Earth Measured speaking from Italy. I would like today to speak about the moon eclipse. I have made at the beginning of this week a video speaking about this in Italian, and it is having a certain success because it is a quite important argument for all flat earthers. Many flat earthers are not able to explain how moon eclipses are happening. For the sun is another thing. It is easier to explain. But for the moon, there are many hypotheses. One of these being that there is a black moon that covers the moon when there are the correct conditions. But however, we will see in this video what is really happening. The mainstream science states that the Earth is a sphere, okay, it's a globe, the moon is a globe, the sun is a globe. There are very big distances between them, and when there is a moon eclipse, the sun, the earth and the moon are on the same line, and the sun projects the shadow of the earth over the moon, and thus the eclipse happens. On the flat earth is different. We know that the moon eclipse happens when there is the full moon. So the sun and the moon that runs their conical spiraliform trajectory, spiral-shaped trajectory has to be at 180 degrees, one opposed to the other. And so we wonder what is staying between the sun and the moon, because we have seen in a past video that the light of the moon is activated by the ultraviolet radiations emitted by the sun, and the moon is emitting a fluorescent light activated by the sun. So we make the hypothesis that something has to be there between the sun and the moon. Not only the sun and the moon has to be at 180 degrees. From the globe mainstream science theory, we know that the orbit of the moon and that of the sun has to intersect. When the moon is on the node, on the intersection point, this means that, and it is full, this means that the eclipse can happen. Okay, these perfect conditions are very rare to happen, but since the moon and the sun have a thickness of 0.5 degrees, it is not necessary to have a perfect condition, but the eclipse will happen anyway. So we have on the flat earth model to have sun and moon opposed one to the other and at the same height. This means on our model the fact that the moon orbit and the sun orbit are intersecting, and that the moon is over the node, on the node of its trajectory. Then we know that in the middle, over the North Pole, there is a magnetic column, and we will describe in future videos why this happen and what is the function of this column. But we know, however, that this column does exist, because if we have a compass, we can see the needle pointing toward the north direction. So we have this column that is between, that has its position is between the sun and the moon in that particular situation. And so we have the light of the sun that passes through this magnetic column, and if we make a little research, you will see that the Faraday effect will change the polarized angle of the light of the sun, and I suppose, I make an hypothesis, it gives to the light of the sun the same polarizing angle of the light of the moon. In fact, the light of the sun and the light of the moon are already when emitted, slightly polarized. So this light that has the same polarizing angle of the moon enters in destructive interference with the light of the moon, and this light, the light emitted by the moon, at the beginning slowly gets slower, so the frequency slows down, and goes to the red light. In fact, at the beginning of the eclipse we see the moon getting red, and then it disappears, the light disappears completely, and we see the shadow, the round shadow over the moon, not because the Earth is a globe, but because we have a projection of the light of the sun that is a round disk. Okay? So, if you want to understand better how the moon eclipse is happening, you have to study the Faraday effect and how the magnetic column positioned over the North Pole is affecting the light of the sun that is projected over the moon when the sun and the moon are at 180 degrees and at the same height over the conical trajectory of the sun and of the moon. It is more difficult to understand because I don't speak well English. However, I hope that you have understood. If you have not understood, you can write me in the comment below and I will try to help you to understand better. Thank you to follow me always in my video. Thank you for the comment that you are making in my videos. Bye bye. Have a good week. Next week. Good week. Bye bye. Ciao.